Hey film fans! Welcome to CINEPRO, your ultimate hub for all movie recaps, from heartwarming classics to the latest blockbusters. The movie starts in the year 1991, in a city called Kettle Springs. At that time, there were some young people having a party next to a piece of land planted with corn. Next to them was an old juice factory that was very valuable to the city. There was a girl among the group playing in a box shaped like a clown. The girl is playing, looking at her friend in front of her and signaling to him. Then she gets up and goes into the cornfield, and her friend follows her. The guy keeps looking for the girl inside the field but can't find her. Suddenly, out of nowhere, the girl appears in front of him, bleeding from her mouth because she was stabbed in the back with a big knife. The guy is terrified by the sight and is literally frozen in fear. Before he can process anything, he sees a clown in front of him, holding a big knife. The clown finishes him off and lifts him up in a very scary and terrifying scene. In the present day, we see a girl named Quinn. She moves with her father, Dr. Glenn, to this city. We find out that Glenn will be working in this small city. At that time, Quinn doesn't like the song her father is playing and asks him to turn off the radio because it's an old song and she doesn't want to listen to it. Then Quinn and her father arrive at their new house, and there Quinn is shocked to find a dead animal inside the house, and there's no cell phone signal at all. Of course, Quinn gets even more upset, but we find out, my friend, that Quinn isn't upset because of the house. She's actually always in conflict with her father and their relationship isn't great. That's because Quinn is very sad about her mother's death some time ago. We move to the next day as she goes to school. Glenn offers to drive her, but she refuses, saying she's not a little kid and can take care of herself. But when she opens the door, she's startled to find a boy her age named Rust. He quickly apologizes and says he's their neighbor and came to introduce himself. Glenn welcomes him and asks if he's going to school so he can take Quinn with him. He says that's why he came, and he takes Quinn and they head to school. After a while, we see Quinn entering her classroom. The teacher, Vern, gives her a few words because she's late. One of her classmates, Cole, defends her, but Vern tells him to be quiet. When Vern starts teaching, he's surprised to see the students have made a very funny picture of him. He gets angry and asks who did it. They all laugh and no one answers, so he tells them as punishment they'll have a test immediately. The test papers also have a funny picture of Vern. At this point, Vern loses his temper and leaves. After class, Quinn is with a group of students and starts to get to know them. We find out these students are a close-knit group who always hang out together. The group is made up of Janice, Matt, Ronnie, Cole, and the last one is Tucker. Quinn asks them why their city is so gloomy. They tell her that the people are old-fashioned and stick to traditions. They also tell her that the townspeople have relied mainly on corn farming for over 100 years because they make juice from it, which is a major source of income for everyone in the village. What's more, the townspeople hold a festival every year for the corn harvest, and the festival features a clown figure that is considered an important symbol for the whole city. But the juice factory was closed down some time ago and was completely destroyed. After that, the clown started appearing and committing many murders. Until now, no one knows why the clown kills people, nor who is impersonating the clown. The problem is, most people don't believe the story of the killer clown at all. Anyway, the group shows Quinn some videos they made while wearing clown masks. They upload these videos to their YouTube channel and get a lot of views. After school, Quinn goes to a restaurant to have lunch with her father. While they're there, Dan, the police chief, comes in and welcomes Glenn as the new doctor. While they're talking, they see Cole and his friend looking at Quinn from outside the restaurant. Dan warns Quinn not to hang out with that group, telling her they're the reason for the fire at the juice factory. This is the second time the juice factory has burned. Anyway, Quinn leaves her father to have lunch with Dan and goes to meet Cole and his friends. They hang out together until nightfall and gather in a remote place. They sit and talk for a while until Matt leaves to use the bathroom. Here, Quinn asks Cole about the fire at the juice factory. Cole tells her they were filming a video inside the factory when an electrical short circuit happened and caused the fire. But the people of the town didn't believe the story about the short circuit and accused Cole and his friends of setting the factory on fire. At that moment, we see someone attack Matt and punch him in the stomach. Matt returns to his friends and collapses in front of them. They all panic, and they get even more scared when the clown appears in front of them, making it clear he killed Matt. The clown approaches them and seems about to finish them off. Of course, Quinn is terrified, but all of this turns out to be a prank set up by Cole and his friends for Quinn. Not only that, they filmed the video and they upload it to the channel. Quinn doesn't get upset with them. On the contrary, she's happy that she now has friends and will break the boredom she feels in this city. After that, they all leave, and Quinn stays with Cole, and they talk a bit about his life. We learn that Quinn's mother died from an overdose, and her father fell apart after her death and couldn't continue working at the hospital, especially after he tried to save his wife but failed. As for Cole, he tells Quinn about his sister who drowned when they were swimming together in the river. Since then, his father has blamed him for what happened. Anyway, after the two of them open up to each other, they decide to finally go back home. When Cole drops Quinn off at her house, her father gets very angry and tells her she shouldn't hang out with any of those guys because Dan, the police chief, told him very bad things about them. Quinn doesn't like what her father says and goes to her room to watch the video her friends had just recorded. Suddenly, she notices someone wearing a clown mask who was stalking Tucker while he was dressed as a clown, pretending to be the killer. Naturally, Quinn gets very scared, takes a screenshot, and quickly sends it to Tucker, who, by the way, is home alone and is surprised when he sees the screenshot Quinn sent him. But Tucker doesn't get to do anything, because he hears a knock at the door and sees on the camera someone dressed as a clown. He assumes it's one of his friends. At the same time, he senses something strange inside the house and figures his friends are filming a new video to upload to the channel. While Tucker is looking for his friends, he finds the box with the clown toy that belonged to the girl who died at the beginning of the movie. Tucker doesn't pay much attention and puts the box back in the closet. But suddenly, the clown appears behind Tucker and kills him brutally. The next day, we see Matt working out in his garage, and he also sees the clown toy box in front of him. And the clown appears and kills Matt. At this point, we see the town's mayor, Arthur, celebrating the annual harvest festival with all the townspeople. By the way, Arthur is Cole's father, just as Quinn's father is hers. Anyway, Cole and Quinn arrive and watch the celebration. There's a big parade with a clown statue, the town's symbol, and in the middle of the parade, there's a clown riding a bicycle, doing tricks. But then he throws a fireball at the clown statue, setting it on fire and causing chaos. Arthur gets very angry and asks Dan to find out who is responsible for the incident and arrest them immediately. Here, Dan has no one to blame but Cole and his friends, accusing them of causing the trouble, especially since they already have a reputation for mischief. Cole tries to defend himself and his friends, explaining to Dan that they had nothing to do with it. But Dan notices that Tucker and Matt, Cole's friends, are missing, so he suspects one of them was the clown who set the fire and ruined the celebration. Of course, no one knows that Tucker and Matt were killed by the clown, as we saw. In short, Dan takes Cole and his friends and puts them in jail. But a little later, Glenn comes and gets them all out. Quinn sneaks out after her father falls asleep and goes with Cole to a party at one of the corn farms in the village. After they've had enough of the party, they see a scary-looking dead deer, but Cole explains to Quinn that Rust likes hunting. However, we notice that Rust doesn't like Cole because he talks to him harshly. We learn that Rust and Quinn used to be very close friends, but Rust's father killed himself after losing his job at the juice factory that burned down. It's clear why Rust hates Cole. Anyway, Cole leaves Rust and heads to the party. While the party is going on, Quinn and two girls with her hear someone screaming from inside the cornfield. Suddenly, one of their friends comes out of the corn and collapses dead in front of them. Quinn and the others think Tucker and Matt are making a new video, especially since they've been missing all day. Suddenly, Matt's body is thrown at them from inside the corn, and before they can process what's happening, a clown comes out of the cornfield and shoots arrows at them. Luckily, none of them are hit. At that moment, Rust appears, shoots the clown with a gun, and kills him. But then a large number of clowns come out of the corn, all armed. Rust shoots one of them in the hand and scares him off. At the same moment, Cole arrives and saves Quinn before another clown can kill her. Rust then takes Quinn and the others and they run to hide from the clowns. Janet tries to call for help, but there's no signal. Fortunately, they hide in a barn where there's a hatch leading to the underground sewers. They don't waste any time and decide to go down the hatch to escape, but Rust stays in the barn because he finds some tools he can use to make a bomb and blow up the clowns chasing them. In the end, his friends leave him and escape quickly, and Rust manages to blow up the place. Quinn and her group escape through the tunnel hatch and keep running until they reach the highway, where they see a car coming. They wave it down for help, and the car stops. Luckily, it's Dan, the police chief. But Dan does something very strange. When Quinn and her friends tell him what happened, he doesn't believe them. He takes Cole and takes him to the police station, leaving the others behind and driving off. Quinn is surprised by. Quinn, Ronnie, and Janet quickly run away to get out of there. Another group of clowns appears to them and chases them away. So Quinn and her companions try to escape from them, but the clowns catch Ronnie and finish her off. Quinn and Janet are terrified and run as fast as they can until they enter the first house they find in front of them. There, they find a clown sitting on a chair, and it turns out he is dead. Quinn and Janet find pictures of articles talking about the juice factory closing after the fire. Not only that, but they find photos of themselves and their friends hanging on the wall. We understand that this house belongs to the clowns who are chasing them. Suddenly, they hear music. They discover it's coming from a box inside the clown's house. Now the clown who pretended to be dead a while ago suddenly appears and attacks them. Unfortunately, he catches Janet and kills her in a very gruesome way. But Quinn bravely sneaks up and attacks this clown, finishing him off. She takes a car key from the house she's in and escapes quickly. But before she can drive away, a group of clowns appears and kidnaps her. On the other side, Glenn discovers that Quinn is not in the house, so he rushes out to look for her. On the way, he notices that the door to his clinic is broken, so he goes down to see what happened. But he is surprised to find that one of the clowns threatens him, telling him he must operate on his injured friend, or his daughter will die. Glenn is forced to comply and starts the operation. While performing the operation, he gives the defibrillator to the clown and asks him to help save his friend from death. As soon as the clown grabs the device, Glenn stabs him in the neck and finishes him off. He quickly leaves the clinic to go find and rescue Quinn, who, by the way, has lost consciousness inside the juice factory, surrounded by the clowns. At this moment, the clowns remove their masks to reveal themselves. Quinn is shocked to discover that the clowns are Dan the police chief, Vern the teacher, and 2 other townspeople. Arthur, the town mayor, appears to explain everything to Quinn. Arthur says he was the one who came up with the idea of the clowns killing teenagers because he and his group believe teenagers are the reason for all the disasters in the town. But Arthur reveals information no one knows, not even the clowns with him. Arthur was the one who orchestrated the factory fire to frame these teenagers and make people hate them, so when he kills them, no one will care. Second, because he will get money from the insurance company, rebuild the factory, and make it better than ever. Arthur reveals Cole he is kidnapped and hanged with a noose. Quinn is shocked and can't believe Arthur could do this to his own son. But Arthur tells her that ever since his son caused his sister's death, he's no longer his son and deserves to die like her. Quinn tells him he's crazy and not normal, but Arthur doesn't care about her words and asks Dan to finish off Cole. But before that happens, Glenn storms the factory with his car and destroys the place. At that moment, 2 of the clowns die and one of them escapes. Dan shoots Glenn in the shoulder before he can save everyone, then goes after Quinn, who escapes and hides in a room full of clown costumes. Quinn uses this opportunity to hide among them. As soon as Dan enters, she attacks him and puts the electric shock device in his mouth, finishing him off. At this point, Arthur wakes up, takes Glenn's car, and escapes, leaving everyone behind. Cole is left dying, and Glenn tries with all his strength to help, until Rust arrives just in time and shoots the rope with a gun, cutting it. Rust approaches everyone and tells them that before coming to rescue them, he shot Arthur and finished him off. Finally, Quinn joins them so they can leave, but they are confronted by the clown who escaped earlier, the teacher. Anyway, Quinn drives the car at full speed and finishes him off, and that's it. Everything is fine. A year after these events, we see Quinn getting ready to travel to university. At that time, Glenn says goodbye to her after their relationship improved. But before Quinn leaves, Cole and Rust come to say goodbye. After that, Quinn gets in her car and heads out on the road. She finds a clown box inside the car, throws it out on the road, and continues on her way. The movie ends here, so don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and activate the bell to get all the new content. See you in the next video.